Okay, welcome to Monday Motivation. Today we'll talk about overcoming fear to gain confidence. So fear is often seen as an obstacle, as a real negative thing. But what if we turned that around and viewed it as an opportunity for growth? Imagine facing your fears head on and discovering newfound confidence. That's what we're going to talk about today. We'll start with a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. She said it quite well. We gain confidence by each experience in which we really stop to look fear in the face. So hold that for a bit, because it really is true. And if you look back over your life, you may see examples of where that is true in your own life. Fear, let's talk about what fear means. False evidence appearing real. Fear is an emotion. It's not reality. It's not something you can touch or look at or anything like that. It's an emotion that we have to deal with. In the movie After Earth with Will Smith, his character said, "Fear is not real. It is a product of thoughts you create." Now, do not misunderstand. The danger is indeed real. But the fear is a choice. It's an emotion. It doesn't change the circumstance, but we can change how we view it. Will Smith's character was exactly right. We are telling ourselves a story that often is not even based on fact. Fear is an intensely unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or a threat. Fear is fundamental in our minds when dealing with the threat of cancer. The threat created a belief for me multiple times during my own recovery. When I finished treatment, I wanted to sing and shout to the world, "Keep me safe from cancer." Then on a day, just 2 years after my second diagnosis and just 1 year after my final reconstructive surgery, I noticed a lump in my left breast. Now, that tiny lump brought me to the doctor. First, it brought me to my knees. But my doctor thought it could be scar tissue. I thought it could be anything. It could be cancer. Was it cancer again? My mind told me it was. The fear I felt was extreme. Why must I manage my life around a tiny bump? Cancer is the gift that keeps on giving. We all know that. It created a slight inconvenience. So how could I just let this bump control me? It monopolized my thoughts. It took up home in my head. I couldn't focus at my job. I had been so positive, but this news set me spiraling downward. I was set to see my surgeon. The wait was so hard, and I always say the wait is the hardest part. It was so long and so excruciating. 3 days is a long time when you've got a bump in your breast. All the worry ended up creating havoc for no reason. She removed that tiny bump in her office, and the lab determined it was scar tissue, not cancer. If a belief is a feeling of certainty, I got what I was looking for. even if it wasn't ever there. So my fear was the emotion that made me believe I had cancer again. But the facts weren't anywhere near that. I've often gone back to this story. I even wrote about it in my book, Thrive After Breast Cancer, because it's such a profound moment in my life. And I know many of you have experienced similar situations where you thought you were finished and then some crazy issue comes up and sends us reeling again. You'll likely believe it is bad news if you find some suspicious lump anywhere on your body. Yes, I agree that any lump needs to be checked out. I'm not suggesting that. But if you question every aspect of your body's changes, then you create worry without reason. And I can say that because I've aged. You know, it's been 11 years since I was last diagnosed. So I've seen a lot of change in the last 11 years in my own body. Can fear ever be a good thing? I'd like to say it can, and I know it can. Despite its negative connotations, fear can sometimes serve a positive purpose in our lives. It's there for a reason. It's our survival instinct. Fear plays a crucial role when we're triggered by a flight or fight response. If you're, running from a crazed animal or something like that, or a person makes you fearful. That's a survival instinct, and we do use fear to save us. Another good thing about fear is its protective function. Fear can act as a protective mechanism, preventing us from engaging in risky or harmful behaviors. We keep ourselves safe. We're probably not going to walk on the railing of a bridge. We might fall. That's where fear protects us. Motivation for preparation. Fear can motivate us to prepare and proactively mitigate any risks. Then we can eliminate the fear. Healthy caution. Fear can help us to exercise caution in unfamiliar situations or when encountering potential threats. The last one is personal growth. Fear can be a catalyst for personal growth and development and renewed confidence. It's important to note that while fear can have positive aspects, and understanding and managing fear in a healthy manner is crucial to ensuring it remains a helpful emotion rather than a paralyzing one. Our ego is present to protect us from danger. That's our survivor brain, keeping us safe from a threat. But somehow we need to learn to suppress the ego and make assessment based on the facts, not emotion. Beliefs based on emotion will limit our ability to assess a situation properly. We need to break the patterns of those limiting beliefs. My belief was that every lump in my body meant I had cancer again. And I had that belief for a reason, because it was true before. Doesn't mean it'll be true every time I have a lump. Natasha Parker lives in Columbia, Missouri. She's a member of our group, and she allowed me to quote her in my book. She was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer at age 37. I have a similar story. I was age 40. One of her friends who had undergone treatment for leukemia before Natasha was diagnosed with breast cancer reassured Natasha, while cancer treatment will not be fun or something to look forward to, it'll likely not be as bad as you expected. What did she mean by that? But now that Natasha has finished her 16 rounds of chemo, she attests that that statement was true. Sometimes our beliefs set off these negative emotions and creates fear. It creates the fear when reality is perhaps not as bad as we had thought. Tony Robbins said, what can or cannot, let me start over. What we can and cannot do, what we consider possible or impossible, is rarely a function of our true capability. It is more likely a function of our beliefs about who we are. So what he says is the same thing that Natasha experienced. She believed that anything was possible, that she was going to get through her chemo treatments, and that in the end, she would be good again. Going into your cancer journey with positive beliefs is going to help relieve that fear and help give you confidence. It is unfortunately the truth that our minds can often take us to places that make us feel powerless and exhausted. So no matter how positive you feel, our minds can sometimes take us to places we don't want to go. Our minds are compelling, and it can be difficult to rein them back when we allow our thoughts to wander freely. It's easy to get stuck in a murky mindset, focused on what we have lost, instead of paying attention to all the good in our lives. The result can be detrimental to our belief systems and send us spiraling down a path without fact, without meaning. It's just negative emotion. From Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Navigating the currents of life's waters necessitates staying afloat on an upward tide of positive belief. It simply means believing in yourself, even when the path might seem dark or uncertain. Have faith that everything will work out for the best. When you approach life with joy and grace, you create a pathway which opens you up to success and positivity. When we fill our minds with positive beliefs and anticipate each day, we see that we can accomplish anything. It is easy to heal the pain, or is it? If we can heal the pain to find a new belief, it is easy to let go of a suffering mindset. So recognize the villain within you. This is the most crucial mindset change you can make when you're healing after a traumatic event like cancer. I would guess you've already had something that stopped you in your tracks. Maybe it was the day you received your diagnosis. It could have been a limiting belief. It can be people in your life who've taught you about negativity, that they were always waiting for the next bad thing to happen. The fear or uncertainty you've experienced in the past can drive fear in your current day. Your body image after cancer can create fear or judgment, personal judgment. What was it for you? What created your fear? Imagine being at the end of your treatments and realizing you didn't do everything you could have done. Would that create fear? You know, the villain in your head, maybe that villain is right there trying to take control. But you know what? It's never too late to beat that villain. Think of it as the enemy that you need to dispose of. Will you let that villain limit your ability to move forward, to thrive? My answer was no. I got to find some way to deal with this. The villain is how you know you are addicted to your own suffering. Do you know what I mean by that? You repeatedly go over the same old story in your head, justifying to yourself why you are where you are in this life at this particular time. You find all the reasons you got cancer, or all the reasons you're a problem in the world. Why you have the right, you do have the right to be angry or sad, but you ask again and again, why this, why that, why? This is a suffering mindset. Now, this is how I was feeling at one point in my life. That's how I know. And I'm guessing others of you have gone through this yourself. It's easy to fall into self-doubt and negative thinking patterns when reflecting on all you've been through. We may look at our accomplishments, comparing them to others, other women who have gone through a similar situation. And we compare their experience to ours, which leads to feeling that we haven't done all we could do, or we haven't done enough. But it's vital to approach ourselves with compassion and understanding, and not compare ourselves to anyone else. We each have our own unique circumstance and experience that has brought us where we are today. It's important to acknowledge these factors and recognize that you are precisely where you're meant to be right now. Trust yourself and your journey. Know that growth and progress are ongoing. So let's practice with an interactive exercise to overcome fear and regain your confidence. Here's how you would do it. Write down one fear that comes to your mind today. What is it? What are you afraid of? Then write a small step that you can take to confront it now. If it's about something that might happen in the future, what can you do today to help confront that fear? Second, answer this question. What is the best possible outcome? If you're fearing something in the future, what if it doesn't happen? What's the best outcome? And third, list the benefits of overcoming this fear, such as increased resilience or growth, confidence, new opportunities. Whatever your benefits are for overcoming that fear, list those out. I hope this talk has helped you understand fear, the strategies to face it, and the benefits of overcoming it. I encourage you to take action immediately, maybe even tonight, or right after you finish listening to this video. Remember, your confidence is just on the other side of fear. I'm cheering you on. Have a great Monday. Goodbye.